That's what
Yeah. There we go. We're off and running. Right. Okay, let's make a start then. So yeah, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, where you might be. Right, 20th of August. Welcome to the Welsh Azure user group of virtual meetup for August. As always, big warm welcome from myself and my partner in crime, Mr. Fatunka there. Like I say, normally I put this slide up really just a point of kind of calling out that this is a community user group specifically meant to support all those that are interested in using and are consuming and wanting to learn more around the wonderful world of Azure. So feel free to reach out to myself or Matt. Our LinkedIn URLs are there on the screen. Like I say, if you've got any advice, ideas, you want to speak at the group, anything like that, please do hit us up on LinkedIn or follow us on X. We'd love to have you part of the community, and you don't even have to be Welsh to join us. As that it's predominantly a virtual meetup user group at the moment. So yeah, that's us. So hello from us. A few housekeeping rules, if we can, before we get started with this evening's agenda. As always, please, everybody, do be courteous to each other. We're all here to learn and ask questions. So, on that note, there are no silly questions. Please do those stay on mute unless you're invited to come off and speak, and use the chat facility. So you should all have access to the chat facility to ask any questions. And like I say, be interactive, enjoy it, help each other out if you know the answers to some questions, and if we need to, we'll present them to the speakers, at their leisure if they can come off and answer them as they go through their session. Great. If not, we might get a little bit of time at the end just to ask the questions. Also, don't forget we've got our quiz. So after the second session tonight, we will jump into a little bit of a fun quiz to wrap up the evening, and there are actual prizes. I think we've got some Amazon gift vouchers to give away. So stick around for that and have a little bit of fun. Like I say, it's 5-10 minutes at the end. But like I say, most importantly, be interactive and of course enjoy all the sessions. Okay, so on to tonight's sessions. Quick meet your speakers. So, huge thanks to Mayur and Alka for giving us their time this evening to talk us through two pretty, I think, futuristic and kind of exciting topic areas at the moment. Certainly with a lot of the customers I'm working with, but certainly from Mayur's perspective, looking at that building smart cities with Azure is going to be a fun and interesting topic to delve into. And then Alka will be joining us then to talk around that enterprise data architecture and what that looks like on Azure. So timings wise, I will stop my ramble in a moment and hand over to Mayur and Janak, and about 45 minutes ish, and then so Alka will be around about 7:30 UK time, and then the quiz shortly after. So a quick shout out, as I always do, to our fantastic sponsors of the events. They kind of keep us going with the prizes, and when we do in-person events, they're always on hand to help us out with those as well. So big shout out to Servants. I say this every session, but they're a great Microsoft first, Azure first professional services company. If you don't know them, look them up. Great team with Des and Declan and the wider team there at Servant. They're doing a lot with us at the moment, and like I say, they've got a great group of people there working. They cover a lot of the areas as you might expect from an Azure perspective, and they've got a great deal of experience and customer. I think excellence. I think what's the word I'm trying to find there? Don't know what it is myself, but anyway, big shout out Servant. If you don't know them, go and give them a look up and follow them on LinkedIn. They're doing some great stuff. And then secondly, but not leastly, Credit Safe. So Credit Safe are a locally headquartered business based down in South Wales. So it's great to get those guys on board just to support the user group from a local business networking perspective. And they grace us with some great talks as well on the user group. So it's always great to be able to kind of reach out and have local businesses supporting the user group as well. So a big shout out to the team at Credit Safe as well. Thank you for your support over the years. And to be honest, I was just saying to Matt, now this is actually it's our it's our last session before our 5th anniversary, Matt, right? So
yeah, I think so. I think
penultimate one.
it's either the 5th year or it's the 5th year minus 1 month.
Yeah,
We're
we're
not
pretty much
sure.
there. It's not bad going. It's pretty good going. And yeah, I see some familiar faces on the call already. Thank you for sticking around, everybody, and thanks for all the support for obviously for everybody turning up pretty much every month and giving us a watch and supporting. So there we go. Look, on that note, I think we will just jump straight into the session. So, Mayor and Yannick, if you are ready, guys, I'm happy to hand over control to you.
Oh, thank you, John and Matthew, for having us here today. Really looking forward to for the talk today. Let me quickly share my power presentation. Do you guys see the PPT?
Yeah, just loading up now. There we go. Got it.
Yep. So, yep. Thanks once again for having us. My name is Mayur and I work with Microsoft as software engineer. And today we are exploring how cloud architecture transforms urban challenges into smart solutions. So just to give set a context, by 2050, nearly 70% of world's population will live in cities. This rapid urbanization creates unprecedented infrastructure strain, with cities like Barcelona managing about like 1.6 million residents plus 6 million annual tourists. And here in this talk, we are going to talk about how Azure provides the proven cloud foundation that enables cities to build scalable, secure, and sustainable smart city solutions. So let's get right into it. Now about transforming urban infrastructure with Azure Cloud. About 67.8% operational efficiency improvements come from Azure's cloud native architecture. It's unlikely in comparison with traditional on-premises system that requires manual scaling and maintenance. Azure's elasticity in general automatically adjusts resources based on demand. And for the cost infrastructure cost reduction, it's about 34.2% reduction happened with using Azure cloud solutions. Traditional infrastructure requires upfront investment in hardware that may become obsolete. But with Azure's pay-as-you-go model, means city only pay for resources they usually use. Um, and for Azure IoT hubs, which can handle about 300 million messages per day per unit with the size of 3 hubs. So scalable IoT solutions with real-time processing is something which Azure IoT event hubs provide. And our implementation have demonstrated that cloud-based smart cities infrastructure not only improves the performance, but delivers significant cost advantage across diverse urban environments. Moving on, how the smart city technologically landscape look like. So let's talk about the pieces one by one. About IoT Hub and IoT Edge. Azure IoT Hub in general provides device to cloud telemetry with messaging size up to 256 KB and supports up to 50 IoT hubs per subscription. IoT Edge can extend this capability to process data locally, which reduces latency and bandwidth requirements. Now, for event hubs and streaming analysis, we have seen that event hubs handles up to 2 megabyte per second per throughput unit, while stream analytics processes roughly about 7 megabytes per second per streaming unit. This combination enables real-time urban analytics. For example, in Kansas City, we have seen that the streetcar system processes about 200 cameras worth of data to automatically adjust the lighting based on pedestrian traffic. About digital twins and AI integrations, Azure Digital Twins creates digital representations using the digital twins definition language, supporting millions of entities and relationships. With microservice architecture and the ML, we have seen that the functions, logic apps, and service buses create a microservice backbone that handles about 1.2 million concurrent operations with sub-second response time. This architecture pattern ensures resilience and scalability across smart city applications. Now let's talk about the intelligent transport system case study. In general, the system reliability we have seen with Azure, it's about 91.7% in the real-time traffic processing. Which is the system handles the data ingestion failures, network interruption, and peak traffic gracefully. Azure's automatic scaling capabilities ensure consistent performance during high demand periods. We have also seen that about 76.2% commuters get benefit with these reliability and the managements here during the peak hours. Event hubs and optimal streaming units allocation and streaming analytics has been carefully partitioned in this infrastructure. And the real world impact, as we have seen that it's about like 76.2% with the real world impact on the system, and around 32 million daily events, which is equally about like 37 events per second continuously being processed with the Azure system. In all the smart city networks, we have been seeing that in the field of traffic management, in the field of emergency responses or education, all these are like top three we have seen are important fields where the use of smart city infrastructure is being benefited. Now let's see, let's talk about how an emergency response system architecture looks like. So what happens? We need firstly a way to actually detect an incident. And how would one do that? With the detection layer where the incident detection should happen is based on the IoT sensors and citizen reports, which are provided through Azure Functions. Once this incident report has been given, this data or data from the IoT sensors needs to be processed. And this logic app orchestrates workflow with sub-seconds latency by leveraging Azure's event-driven architecture. The system must handle messaging queue, error handling, and workflow state management across distributed components because we are talking about the emergency responses. Now, with this data, there is an ML learning process and integration being done, where Azure machine learning optimizes resource allocation using historical patterns. The ML model learns from the response time, incidence types, and resource availability to predict optimal deployment strategies. And the response coordinates. The twin coordinate, like the twin model, the digital twin model, provides real-time asset tracking through spatial intelligence capabilities. Emergency coordinates see live positions of all resources on a digital map, enabling coordination that achieves approximately 42.6% faster response time and about like 63.8% of allocating the resources efficiently. Moving on. Now with the large scale IoT device management system, it comes with its challenges too. So challenges could be like the device provisioning and security, the bandwidth of these devices.
Are you back, Maya?
Sorry?
We lost you then for a second, Maya. So
Oh, okay.
we lost your audio then for a little bit.
Oh,
You're back
now. Should I go back to the slide or?
Yeah, just start that next slide again. That was fine. It was
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. So it's about the large-scale IoT device management. And this, for the urbanization, for the smart city creation, we do face some challenges like device provisioning and security, bandwidth limitations, intermittent connectivity, battery life constraints of these devices. And it can also cause environmental hazards. And along with that, the maintenance. How does Azure provides the solutions for this? In general, Azure IoT Edge solution processes about 5,000. So it processing data from over 5,000 distributed devices. The scale management is being done through Azure IoT device management support. Sorry, give me a second. Yes. Yeah. For the age-based processing, we have seen that it reduces the bandwidth about 76%. Detection accuracy, it's about 78.4% improved detection accuracy comes from deploying AI model at the edge. The edge devices can run computer vision and the other cognitive services locally, providing immediate analysis without cloud round trip. Device lifecycle management, effective IoT device management covers the entire lifecycle from provision to retirement. This includes secure enrollment, group management, monitoring, maintenance, and responsible end-of-life data handling. Now, for the next one, let's talk about how the data actually processes, like the architecture of the data process. It's actually done in the 4 stages in the pipeline where we have like data ingestion, stream processing, data storage, and the visualization. Now, what happens with the data ingestion? The ingestion layer here must handle diverse data sources, formats, and velocities. Event Hubs provides the primary ingestion points with the capabilities of up to around 1 GB per second in dedicated clusters. And data validation and preliminary filtering occurs at this stage. Now let's talk about the stream processing. Azure Stream Analytics provides real-time processing with windowing, aggregation, and complex event processing. The service handles temporal operations with configurable window sizes and supports both tumbling and sliding window patterns. Now, once the data has been processed through the stream processing, this goes for the data storage. Why? Because the smart city requires both hot and cold data storage. Real-time data for immediate decisions, historical data for pattern analysis, and archive data for compliances. Azure provides multiple storage tiers optimized for different access patterns and retention requirements in this case. Now, as we talked about the data retention, data storage, what about the analytics and visualization? The analytics layer connects the process data to business intelligence tools, machine learning models, and citizen-facing application. For example, Power BI, Azure Synapses are few where these can be used for the analytics. Now, for the next slide onwards, I would like to invite my peer Janak. Janak, hand it over to you.
Hey, Mayur, thank you. So I'm Janak. I'm a software engineer at Azure. I was working with Azure Networking and then move on to Azure Compute, and I'm contributing and co-presenting with Mayur. So as Mayur explained, there are three major benefits of using Azure for cities. The first one, which Mayur went over, was operation excellence and reduced cost. The second one is basically governance and trust, which we're going to go over. And the third one is sustainability, majorly revolving around reduce carbon emissions. So for governance and trust, there are two major aspects. One is compliance and security, and second one is privacy. As you like, most cities have higher trust if they have higher transparency into how they use their data. So cities usually do a good job in clearly communicating what data is being collected, how it's being used, and who has access, who does not have access. It allows citizens to know which parts of their data is being captured and which parts are being used and in which manner. It just helps them to have a higher transparent trust. The second part is compliance and governance. Azure policy has a lot of automated compliance checking. It offers data cataloging, lineage tracking, sensitive labeling. It helps cities to meet their GDPR compliance or any other data privacy requirements. Another aspect which Azure helps cities is providing a secure architecture. Most city infrastructure is highly complex, and Azure provides a comprehensive security architecture. This involves like network isolation, identity management, encryption address, encryption in transit, and it also helps in continuously monitoring for threats. The last part is basically auditability. Azure provides a comprehensive audit log at every step. Every step when data is being accessed, any decision has been made to maybe move data from one source to another source, like from data lake to like data factory or any of those, and any user interactions with the data are heavily logged and auditable, which helps cities maintain their audit and compliance requirements as well. Next slide, please. The second part is privacy. The earlier part which we looked at was security. The second part is privacy. Privacy just involves three major aspects: confidential computing, privacy analytics, and granular access control. Confidential computing is something which Azure provides. It helps them to process encrypted data without really like exposing it in an unencrypted form. It makes sure that the sensitive data labels are maintained and there's no breach in confidentiality. Privacy preserving analytics, just providing insights into different privacy techniques. It helps protect individual data and basically only make use of data which is really not needed. Like for example, you have a traffic management system, so the privacy helps Azure helps cities to mask off license plates or any such private information which is not really needed, but is helpful for the city to plan the traffic management system. The last one is access control. Role-based access control is completely built into Azure. Azure provides extreme granular control, which you can think of, and the corresponding audit logging and review process through it. So that's kind of the summary of privacy which Azure provides. Next slide, please. This is the third main benefit for using Azure for cities. The first two were operation efficiency and privacy and security. The third one is sustainability. Azure helps cities reduce their carbon footprint. As you can see, like Azure has helped cities have a 28.9% carbon reduction. Like it helps with like smart grids, which do a better demand prediction, water distribution optimization, optimize waste collection, some which help, like adaptive street lighting helps them save energy. So these are some ways in which we help them. Resource optimization is another important part. Like Azure helps like by 35.6% in resource utilization. Like this could be infrastructure maintenance or like building energy management, like kind of those aspects. So that's the third benefit of using. Example of this is like Barcelona, which uses like smart lighting and like waste management system provided by Azure, and that has really helped them reducing their carbon footprint. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is kind of like a blueprint which we've seen with cities adopt, and it is kind of an extracted version of the architecture which was already explained by Mayur. There are four major parts. First is data ingestion and edge processing. Basically, the IoT Hub and IoT Edge helps us in collecting data and having like real-time edge processing. The second part is centralized data management and storage. Cosmos DB, Data Lake, SQL databases are some reliable storage which help cities with their data needs. Real-time analytics and intelligence services. So this is the third part where we have stream analytics, event hubs, functions, which help us process the data and provide meaningful insights for the cities. Either actionable items such as allocating resources or any form of correction which they would like to do in their planning. The last one is visualization and application development. This is majorly integrating Azure in their existing systems. Like they might have custom apps which are provided to the citizens. They might have planning apps. So that's the last phase in which we integrate the whole ecosystem into their existing apps. So that's the four major aspects which a city goes through when they integrate with Azure. Next slide, please. This one is majorly an overview of how the timeline looks like, what we have seen. The first one is basically, it's divided into four phases: foundation, pilot deployment, scale out, optimization. As I mentioned, first one is foundation. It just involves setting up initial IoT hub deployments, data governance framework establishment, core networking, identity infrastructure, initial Azure tenant setup with proper security. That just sets up the base for us. Next is pilot deployment. Pilot deployment is basically starting off with some IoT devices, data collection and pipeline validation, analytics model training, and initial dashboard development. The third one is scale out, where we have full scale device deployments, semi-integration with their existing systems, like public-facing applications, some operational handover from like to Azure support as well as their on-call. The last one is optimization, which is an ongoing process. It majorly involves performance monitoring, model retraining and improvement, new use case implementation, and continuous security enhancements. This is one of the examples. We have Azure being used as a traffic management system. The major challenge was about 42 minutes average commute time, and revenue loss of 1.2 billion because of loss of productivity. Azure came up and integrated with the traffic management system. We deployed around 3,200 IoT sensors. We used real-time video analytics for using cognitive services. Digital twin modeling, which is basically a representation of the physical environment into digital. of the entire traffic network. And last one was machine learning for predictive traffic management. We saw a significant improvement across key metrics, around like 25% reduction in commute time, 30% reduction in peak congestion, a good 45% reduction in incident response times, and definitely the sustainability aspect as well, where we had a reduction in emissions as well. Yeah, just summarizing over the three major aspects which help cities. First is cloud advantages, which is majorly operational efficiency improvement, lower cost. Second one is security and trust. Component governments, frameworks, secure architecture, tighter access control is something which security and trust helps cities with. Last one is sustainability, which is majorly reduction in carbon emissions, reduced energy cost, like 28-30% in carbon emissions. So smart cities are the future. Are in the future. They are being currently built, and Azure has repeatedly proven to be the foundation for the cities. The question isn't how Azure can help. It's just how quickly cities can take up the digital challenge and start looking at opportunities which they can improve for a better living. The technical capabilities exist, which Azure provides, and we have seen architectures and blueprints being repeatedly used, and the results are definitely measurable and have an astounding effect on the citizens. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. No, really good. Really appreciate that. I think it's definitely an interesting topic, like you say, where Azure can kind of support in many different ways, right? I think it's a really exciting area to kind of be working in. But no, really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you. Everybody would like to show their appreciation, which I think a few already are. Thank you very much. Okie dokie. Right. Yeah, Alka, I can see you there waiting in the wings. I think we will just head straight on over to your session, if that's all right with you. And nice to say hello as well. How are you doing?
Hey, hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing good, John, Matthew.
Yeah, feel free to take control. We'll jump straight into your session, if that's all right.
Yeah, please. It's a only meeting organization can present and can share.
Oh, have I not given you... yeah, well, I had to lock it all down a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, but bear with.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm fixing it now. Well, I think I am. There we go. That should do it for you. Try now.
Oh, yes, I can share now.
There
Thank you.
Is he letting you share? Okay, Alka.
Yes, yes. Let me know if you are able to see.
There we go. Got you. Yeah. Over to you. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Alka Soni. I would like to thank Welsh Azure user group and John and Matthew for giving me opportunity to speak up and share my knowledge and contribute some point on this important topic like strategic framework for modern regulatory compliance. I have a overall 18 plus years of experience in enterprise data architecture with the focus on governance, regulatory compliance, system and business intelligence. I worked as an enterprise data architect for the Fusion Global Solution LC and work on the multiple enterprise solutions project like the state government, finance, banking, and healthcare organization. Security was the main concern when we address those concerns with the solid and reliable architecture. So today we are going to cover on the same topic like presenting here Azure Enterprise Data Architecture Strategic Framework for Modern Regularity Compliance. As an architect, I design an enterprise solution for both government and healthcare client where the security was the main concern. I address those concerns with the solid and reliable architecture. So today, the organization faces a strict data rule in the industries like the finance, healthcare, and manufacturing. Azure is the powerful platform for managing enterprise data, especially when meeting a complex regulatory standards. With the over 18 plus years of experience, I offer a principal way to make sure data is secure and compliance, especially for the finance, healthcare, and manufacturing sector. It means the design system to manage a business data in a Microsoft Azure so company follow the government and industrial rules. So today's agenda is I'm going to cover here the convergence challenge, architectural foundation, implementation strategy, and real world application. What is the convergence challenge here? Why data architecture and compliance are now connected? How enterprise data architecture and regulatory compliance have evolved from separate concern into interconnected imperative within the Azure environment. The architectural challenge is the key principle and module used in Azure. The theoretical framework, the governance principle, and architecture pattern were supporting a compliance in Azure. The implementation strategy is how to actually build a compliance system. Zero trust architecture, never trust, always authenticate and validate. The data lineage capability, the integration which we are doing through the Azure, where we have the transaction source and destinations are there, the real time monitoring and automated compliance tool, that means the job scheduling. And now the fourth agenda is the real world application, which is our real world case study and lesson from the different industries. So let's talk about our first agenda here, convergence challenge. Think about why are this data architecture and compliance linked now? In the past, companies handle the data management and legal compliance separately. Now regulations are so strict. That's why we can build the technical system affects legal compliance, especially in Azure. Build a secure and rule binding system is essential for the risk management and efficient business operations. Now, let's talk about regulatory landscape. In a global expansion, rules for handling a business data, privacy laws, finance rules, healthcare regulations are the challenging, fast and becoming a more global. Regulations also want the companies to prove their automated decisions are fair and understandable. If we take a look for the algorithm focus here, the Azure tools help the company adopting to this new demand with future for artificial intelligence and real-time processing. The critical component challenges in Azure environment are the companies, if you can see the fragmented global regulations. So here, if we go with this approach in Azure environment, you can see the companies have to handle the conflict rule from different countries. There is a more focus than ever on how business control their data, especially when we use move across the border or involving a third party partners, like the system must stay compliant even during a outage and or any kind of emergency, right? Azure provide an advanced tool to take this problem. Now, the second approach is here. What are the foundation of Azure-based compliance architecture? Why this support is related to operational resilience? Ensuring the system maintain a compliance during a distributions while supporting a business continuity. The third party risk, as I mentioned, managing a compliance across complex ecosystem or partners and vendors within the Azure environment. So let's talk about the foundation of Azure-based compliance architecture. What support the compliance focus architecture in Azure? The first one is the data protecting by design, and second is the regulatory technology. What does mean? So data protection design is the Azure security feature like encryption, description, access control, and privacy tool are built from the start. In any database, when we have highly security like the SSN or some specific PII or HIPAA policies are there, right? So what we have to do, we have to encrypt those data before going this to any development environment or test environment. In production, we can keep, but we have to give the role-based security. The same way here, the data protection by design is most important. In a regulatory technology called RegTech, you can see we are using these things like automated monitoring, artificial intelligence to check compliance consistently while saving a effort and reduce the mistakes. What are the core principles of data governance here? See, the good idea for the governments is knowing where all data and who can see the data and make sure data is only used for the valid reason. So the purpose limitation here, if you see the Azure RBAC is our role-based access control, configure a user in Active Directory and assigning a tier to the user and assigning a privileges by the role like the reader privileges, we can say, and subscription resource group. And the second is ABAC. It's a narrow down the role assignment permission to specific repository instead of entire registry. Now the data minimization is keep only necessary data and deleting the rest safely. And privacy engineering, you can see the protecting a confidential information with modern privacy technique. And continuous assessment is continuously checking the compliance even as the things change. Now let's talk about the actual architectural pattern for the compliance in Azure. So certain technology design help meet a various regulation. Right here, the event sourcing tracks every changes for auditing. The data vault store the historical and current data securely. The zero trust architecture, always check, never trust, right? To ensure only the right people can access the sensitive data. The microservices organization system into the small part for easier control. And different Azure services support this pattern, each we can say each match to the specific regulations. Now let's talk about the regulatory requirement and Azure architecture here. Azure has a framework and tools that turn a governments or industries rules into a technical action. This includes automated policy, reusable environment setup, and continuously check so companies can prove they are always complying audit trials. So here I have mentioned Azure Compliance Manage offer continuous assessment capability aligned with the multiple regulatory framework. So what are the industries specific architectural constraint? Like we have here, we can see the banking, financial service are there, healthcare, manufacturing. If we go with any banking software company, we have a multi-factor authentication, and also we are using Azure Synapse Analytics for the complex risk calculation. Azure Machine Learning is the model for the governance and exploratory. Azure Stream Analysis for the real-time transaction and monitoring. Azure, if we go for the healthcare industry, we can see we have the HIPAA policy. So Azure API for the FHIR for the interoperability and maintaining a HIPAA compliance. Azure IoT services are there. Azure information protecting the PHI information. Manufacturing sector, the Azure digital twins for supply chain compliance. Azure blockchains are there. Azure IoT hub for regulating and monitoring a production environment. So let's talk about this zero trust architecture for the compliance in Azure. What is this zero trust? Zero trust means that no one inside or outside of the organization is automatically trusted. System control access and monitor everything from the starting, reducing the risk of data breaches and making a compliance easier for the full tracking and oversight. You can see here the Azure AD identity managements are there, continuous monitoring just in time access, and using the NSG we can implement. So I have mentioned all those points in the slides. Now let's talk about data lineage. So Azure preview for the data lineage or real-time monitoring stack. What is this the data lineage here? Azure track data comes from while it is going to the data lineage, making a monitoring and compliance reporting easier. Real-time tools flag problem or suspicious activity quickly, helping teams respond immediately to non-compliance. So now what are these case studies say? The major we can say, for example, bank reporting time using Azure Analytics, the healthcare providing eliminated data breaches, and the manufacturing company now they improved their supplier and compliance. We can see the 85% report time reduction for the multinational bank using Azure Synapse and Preview, and HIPAA violation, healthcare system using Azure API for FHIR and HIPAA compliance, and audit time reduction we can see in the global manufacturing using Azure digital twins, and the supplier compliance rate we achieve through the comprehensive Azure based supply chain tracking. So critical success factor for the Azure compliance, we can see executive sponsorship, cloud center in excellence, Azure landing zone, comprehensive training, proper tagging strategy. So if any software company, they work for the Azure life cycle, we can say they start from the development, and in the development phase, they have to uh, prepare their business specification document and ETL specification document. So each team member they contribute the very important role for the Azure compliance architecture. In the same way, exclusive sponsorship, you can see all the team member they can work together, and cloud center of excellence, you can combine the Azure expertise into the compliance knowledge, because company has a different compliance rule we have to follow. It is based on, it's not based on any specific country. The multiple country has their own compliance rules based on the state. Everything is getting changed in the government sector also. Now the emerging best practice and future direction is the automation and integration, infrastructure as a code using Azure resource manager templates and Terraform for the GitOps, we have Azure DevOps, GitHub for the version control compliance, and leveraging Azure native integration capability rather than custom solution. Sustain, Sustainable compliance is the Azure cost management alongside compliance initiative. FinOps practice balancing compliance requirement with the cloud cost and tracking a compliance depth alongside technical level. Continuous compliance improvement using an Azure monitor metrics and central insight. Thank you.
Thanks, Alka. Struggling to find my mute button then. No, appreciate it. No, great session. I think, again, from a enterprise data kind of platform perspective, there's a lot of conversations going on at the moment in terms of consolidating and unifying data platforms, right, to kind of act as that underlying piece that is going to support all our AI dreams and ambitions in the future. So certainly a lot for enterprises to think about. So yeah, great session. Thank you, Alka.
Thanks for
Thank you very much.
opportunity.
No, anytime. Okay. Look, I don't think we've got any questions in the chat or anything. So maybe Matt, well, we might be on for an early finish tonight, but yeah, absolutely. Can we show our appreciation for Alka's session? Thank you both as well. Thank you all for joining tonight and giving up your time to give the sessions. But look, we're not done. Shall we head straight on into the
Let's drop to the quiz. Yeah.
infamous quiz?
How did you get on last month? You all right?
Yeah, I managed to get it all done, and I think we managed to get through it all right without any hiccups, which was surprising considering I was doing it.
So you got to play with the new bits then?
I did. I had a little go with the whole AI generated quiz.
There we go. If everyone wants to join on,
Yeah,
we can give this a go. I don't think there's anything new in this one. I don't think I've made any changes since the last time, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I think it was the answers on the buttons that got me.
Oh yeah,
the answers on the mobile side or the phone, because I use my phone to do it. What are we doing tonight? First place?
First place, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Alan. The answers. I think, yeah. Well, that was probably my fault, to be honest, because I just accepted ridiculously long answers.
I need to put some validation on the actual length of answers you can put in there, because I think there is a bit of a problem with them.
Yeah. Well, it's.
And actually, what you'll see is that one of the question types I've done tonight that has a bit of a UI problem on it. That it's fairly obvious when you see it. It's a bug I've got to add.
Right. There you go. I'm just joining in now as well. I'll give it a go. Obviously, I'm not going to win the prize. We're going for a £25 Amazon gift voucher.
Yep.
Number one. Any more? Is there any more ready to join? Speak now. Let us know if you.
12 is a good.
We're not far off, are we? But yeah, is anybody struggling to get on? Give us a sign if you are. We'll wait. If not,
Let's roll. I think that's probably a good number.
let's do it. Yeah, why not?
Let's give it a go. Right then, first question. Azure results, Q4 results, always a good time. How much did the Azure business grow in the last quarter?
Oh, that's too easy for me, Matt.
I didn't pay much attention. Like setting this quiz was the first time I'd looked at it.
Oh, I was.
Correct answer was 39%. D got that one. Well,
I got it wrong.
Well, now that'll teach you to be smug, won't it?
I was, yeah, actually, there's another answer in there that was around, yeah. I can see where I went wrong there.
What feature was added in preview to Azure Migrate this year?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Didn't know.
I didn't know this one either.
I think I've done a process of elimination here.
Ooh. It was the carbon emissions estimator, apparently.
Actually, yeah, there's been a separate calculator for that for a while, haven't there? But have they
Yeah.
added it to Azure Migrate now
It's
as well?
part of Migrate now, apparently. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Logic apps are the best solution for ingesting large amounts of IoT data. Is that true or false? Correct answer is false. Yes, you can do it. I wouldn't advertise. No, recommend doing it. Stream Analytics supports which query language?
Ooh. I got to get back playing with this. It's all good stuff.
Bit of a cheeky answer. This one is. It's SQL-like. It's T-SQL, but with some extra bits. Which protocol is supported by IoT Hub? MQTT. Most people got that one. D's on for a blinder this time.
He's on fire, D.
Azure compliance tools include which one of these?
Been learning a lot about this the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think lots of people have. I think AI is forcing lots of people to learn lots about this.
Yeah.
Well done, Simon. You were the fastest on that one. Name the computer that turns 40 this year.
Oh God, is that really?
Yeah.
What I think
How
it
old
is?
do you feel now?
God. Well, I had the precursor to that.
So did I.
You were
In fact,
posh if you had one of those.
I had two variations of these as well.
God, 40, yeah.
I had the 500 and the 1200.
I never owned one. I had, like I say, I had the Commodore 64.
Some amazing games on it. There you see, there's my UI problem.
Ah, there we go.
I haven't quite formatted that properly yet.
There you go, see behind the scenes.
In Excel, is that query valid command?
Ooh. Did I see Satya tweet something about this the other day?
May well have done.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct answer was true, yes. Yes, it's quite funky, really. It's one of those little kind of hidden things. Oh, Microsoft became the second company to be valued above $4 trillion. Who was the first? And one of them is going to be either the third or the fourth. Correct answer was NVIDIA. Selling these GPUs and NPUs is a very profitable business at the moment. On what day was GPT-5 made available in Azure AI Foundry? Take a guess.
Yeah.
Unless you really know it. Correct answer was the 7th of August. 18% of people got that answer correct. That shook things up a little bit. And our winner for tonight is Neil. Well done, Neil.
There we are. Well done, Neil. Yeah, let me take a quick screenshot.
Yeah, take a that one.
Yeah.
Oh, she'll do it.
I'm assuming that's you, Neil Davis. There's no other Neils in the chat, is there? I'm going to copy your email address, Neil, if that's all right, and send that over to you. Let me just make a quick copy of that. Cool. All right. No, good stuff, Matt. Yeah, I think definitely adds a little bit more of a dynamic nature to the quiz, doesn't it? All the different types and
Yeah,
So
there's a
just
few
what-
more I'm planning to add as well. So
Yeah, no, it's a good. That's it. You're gonna have to come back and do the updated talk at some point, aren't you? That's the thing. And by the
definitely, I
way, for
think
those that haven't seen it, I say this every time. That Quizzer platform is made by Mr. Fatonka, basically off the back of us running out of a license for
yeah, exactly.
a, a different platform that shall not be
Yes.
named. No.
Well, I've just named it, so
Yeah, there we go. No, good stuff. Okay, right. That's yeah, Neil, I'll get that Amazon voucher winging its way over to you. So yeah, congrats on that. Look, big shout out, Mayor, Janak, Alka, thank you so much for giving up your time and coming on and saying hello and talking us through two fantastic talks again this evening. Really is appreciated. Obviously, these groups wouldn't be able to go ahead without fantastic speakers joining us and imparting their knowledge. So really huge shout out to you guys and thank you again for that. Thank you and good, lovely to meet you all as well, by the way. So yeah, kind of brings me really just to say, thank you to the audience as well for joining, for giving up a couple of hours on an evening. It's always one of those things that you join to kind of, get some knowledge and of course win a few quiz prizes if you can. But thanks everybody for joining. Really does mean a lot for supporting the user group. Next session, TBC at the minute. I got to catch up with Matt. We did have a plan, but then we might not have a plan, and I don't know some dates. So TBC at the minute. Watch your space. We'll get that out as soon as possible. But until next time, yeah, thank you all for joining, and yeah, have a good evening. Just
Thank you.
as Nick, you join Nick just as we are finishing the sessions. Nick, you're too late. Sorry, mate. We're done. We're ending. But no, thank you all. I'll let you all crack on. Have a good evening. We'll see you all soon.
thanks all.
Thank you.